Welcome back to the channel. Today we bring you an important address delivered on the global stage by India's Minister of External Affairs, Dr. S.Jaishankar, speaking before the United Nations General Assembly in New York. This speech comes at a time of extraordinary turbulence around the world and offers India's vision for a more equitable, responsible, and balanced global order. In a speech watched closely by diplomats and analysts around the world, Dr. Jaishankar strongly advocated for India's permanent membership in the United Nations Security Council. He underlined the importance of respecting India's sovereignty and ensuring non-interference in its internal affairs, a subtle but powerful reference to countries that have historically commented on India's domestic affairs. Dr. Jaishankar declared that India's presidency of the G20 was not a matter of prestige, but a mission driven by what he called an exceptional sense of responsibility. Guided by the philosophy of one Earth, one family, one future, India put forward an inspiring vision that global priorities must reflect the hopes of the many, rather than the narrow interests of the few. It was a moment of profound clarity. In a divided world, India chose to speak the language of bridge building, of unity, of sowing seeds of collaboration rather than discord. The New Delhi G20 Leaders' Declaration, which India spearheaded, became a living testament to this vision, proving that collective leadership can be harnessed for inclusive progress. Dr. Jaishankar was clear: diplomacy and dialogue remain humanity's best hope, especially at a time when East-West polarization grows sharper and North-South inequalities deepen. He reminded the world that respect, listening, and cooperation are not weaknesses. They are the bedrock of real solutions. In a global system often hijacked by loud voices and hard power, India chose instead to dignify the quiet power of inclusion. Perhaps one of the most powerful elements of India's G20 presidency was its efforts to amplify the voice of the Global South. Early in its presidency, India convened the Voice of the Global South Summit, connecting with 125 nations to bring their concerns directly into the G20 mainstream. Issues long ignored were finally given the fair hearing they deserved. That, too, is a form of global justice. India went a step further, championing the African Union's inclusion as a permanent member of the G20, giving an entire continent its rightful seat at the table. Dr. Jaishankar described this as a spark of reform that should inspire even the United Nations itself to modernize, to become more representative, and therefore more credible in the eyes of the world. The address also laid out actionable outcomes from the G20, showing how India's leadership was more than just slogans. There were tangible commitments: advancing the Sustainable Development Goals, promoting lifestyle changes that respect the environment, endorsing the Green Development Pact, and recognizing the transformative role of digital public infrastructure. Dr. Jaishankar also spoke of empowering women-led development as a key to inclusive and progressive societies, and of how international financial systems must be reformed so that debt traps no longer crush the dreams of the developing world. What was striking in his words was India's absolute focus on practical, constructive solutions: tackling hunger, eliminating plastic pollution, securing food supplies, responsibly developing artificial intelligence, and nurturing a globally skilled workforce for a changing world. Through all of this, Dr. Jaishankar framed India as a country that has evolved from its historical non-alignment to what he called Vishwa Mitra, a friend to the world. India today is willing to harmonize diverse interests, to build partnerships ranging from the Quad to I-22 and 2, even to launch new initiatives like the India-Middle East-Europe Economic Corridor or the Global Biofuels Alliance. These examples point to a remarkable truth: a new, open-minded approach can define the emerging multipolar world order, and India intends to help shape that future with confidence. At a national level, Dr. Jaishankar made it clear that India's aspiration to be a leading power is not about self-glorification. It is about carrying greater responsibilities and making greater contributions to global welfare. He cited the COVID-19 vaccine outreach, the International Solar Alliance, and the Coalition for Disaster-Resilient Infrastructure as examples of how India has consistently stepped up for the world. Whether responding to crises in Sri Lanka, Turkey, or Syria, or building partnerships with 78 countries in areas like health, climate action, and technology, India has tried to live its values on the global stage. Dr. Jaishankar reminded everyone that India is the world's most populous nation, its fifth largest economy, and a nation whose experiences resonate with millions around the globe because of shared culture, history, or values. That is why India's path is watched closely. It serves as a source of hope and a lesson in what is possible when a society harnesses both tradition and modernity. He pointed proudly to India's achievement of lifting over 400 million people out of poverty, a feat recorded in the Global Multidimensional Poverty Index. That is more than a statistic. It is proof that targeted socioeconomic policies work. He showcased India's major strides in financial inclusion, food security, housing, water supply, and clean energy, proving that welfare does not belong only to the developed world, it can thrive in developing countries too. Another pillar of India's modern vision is the democratization of technology, using digital platforms to scale up services, eliminate corruption, and leave no one behind. That, Dr. Jaishankar argued, is the foundation of a confident, creative, and resilient India. Yet he did not shy away from hard truths. He warned that a fair, rules-based global order cannot exist if a handful of nations continue to set norms for everyone else. Respect for sovereignty, for non-interference, and for equality under international law must apply to all if trust is to be rebuilt. He challenged the world to never repeat the injustice of vaccine nationalism, to never let markets steer food and energy away from the needy, and to refuse to let responses to terrorism or extremism be dictated by political convenience. A consistent respect for territorial integrity and sovereignty, he said, is the only way the world can reclaim honesty and rebuild real solidarity. As the UN Summit of the Future approaches, Dr. Jaishankar saw an opportunity to drive change, champion fairness, and reform even the Security Council itself so that it reflects today's world rather than a world frozen in time. He reminded everyone that India is now in its Amrit Kal, a transformative era spanning the next 25 years, fueled by the energy of its young people, its growing innovation, and its powerful cultural and civilizational values. He pointed to Chandrayaan-3's successful moon landing as a symbol of India's capabilities and as a metaphor for how India's dreams can inspire the entire planet, whether through digital governance, robust infrastructure, the arts, wellness, or even the powerful step of reserving 1/3 of parliamentary seats for women. In the end, Dr. Jaishankar described India as a society where deep-rooted democracy and modern advancement go hand in hand, a country willing to cooperate, to lead, and to help build a fairer and more equitable world. That is the story India wants to tell, not just for itself, but for the world to see, learn from, and build upon. If you found this deep analysis helpful, consider subscribing to the channel for more clear, fair, and engaging perspectives on India and world affairs. Share your views in the comments, and as always, stay informed and stay aware.